The Spring 2021 Graduate Commencement Ceremony for the College of Education is now in order. Please be seated. Members of the graduating class, Board of Governors, faculty, staff, students, family, alumni, and friends. My name is Dr. Shari Bax, Master of Ceremonies for the Spring Graduate Commencement and Vice President for Student Experience and Engagement. It's always a pleasure to have family and friends of UCM students visiting our campus. Welcoming you here for this afternoon's event is especially meaningful as we honor our graduates and celebrate their achievements. And for our guests watching the live stream, we are glad you can join us for this special event. Commencement also provides an opportunity to recognize Central Missouri's outstanding faculty and staff, who are dedicated to providing the highest quality education and to making a positive difference in the lives of our students. Would the representatives of the faculty please rise? Please join me in saluting our faculty with a round of applause. We would also like to thank Dr. Anthony Purcell and members of the UCM Wind Ensemble and Dr. Adams Roost and UCM's Concert Choir for their virtual musical performances this afternoon. Thanks also to Nexus Interpreting, who is serving as our sign language interpreter for this afternoon, and to our name reader, Ms. Christy Richardson. Lastly, a special thanks to the members of the Commencement Committee, who spent many long hours planning this day, and to the many others that have helped to organize and plan this commencement. It is now my pleasure to introduce members of the platform party. Please stand as I call your name. Audience, please hold your applause until all have been introduced. With us this afternoon is Vice President of the University of Central Missouri's Board of Governors, John Collier of Weston. University President Roger Best, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Phil Bridgman, Dean of the College of Education, Robert Lee, Vice President for Advancement and Executive Director for the Alumni Foundation, Courtney Goddard, Faculty Senate President and Mace Bearer, James Locke, 2020 Byler Distinguished Faculty Award recipient, Donna Lisa Butterfield, and candidate for a Master of Science degree, Katie Dobridny. Please welcome them. Governor Collier, would you please bring greetings from the Board of Governors?
Thank you. Good afternoon. Today it is my great honor to represent the University of Central Missouri Board of Governors and welcome you to our 2021 Spring Commencement exercises. This is a very special day in your lives as graduate students, but also in the history of UCM. Your graduation today puts you in a unique position as members of the 150-year class of UCM. On May 10th, 2 days from now, however, in 1871, UCM officially opened its doors to students at State Normal School for the Second Normal District. Since then, we have a long tradition of helping students realize their career goals. We're proud of our faculty and staff who throughout history have shown their resilience and persevered to keep higher education moving forward at this university. As you remember this important day, you will likely not forget the challenges that accompanied your educational journey in this extraordinary year. Our world has been greatly affected by the pandemic, but we owe a debt of gratitude to our UCM faculty, staff, and students. They collectively embraced health and safety measures and turned potential obstacles into opportunities to push forward in providing the kind of quality education experience that we are accustomed to here at UCM. That same perseverance to succeed has brought us here together to celebrate the outstanding achievements as university graduates. Many of you will leave here with life lessons you have gained from engaging with faculty and staff members who cared about your success as a student. We know that everyone who crosses the stage today could share stories about how different individuals at UCM, including many people here in the audience who have mentored, taught, and encouraged them in pursuit of their educational goals. Perhaps they touched your life by enhancing the depth and breadth of your knowledge as a student, or inspired you to step out of your comfort zone and beyond yourself. Our hope is that you will take what you've learned from those experiences and pay it forward to the benefit of those others through your mentorships, encouragement, and support. Earning a graduate degree is going to open many doors, but the real work, that which will change your life and the lives of others, doesn't stop outside the halls of UCM. In the words of one of the university's most famous alumni, Dale Carnegie, knowledge isn't power until it is applied. Congratulations, class of 2021, and best wishes for a bright and successful future. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Collier. It is now my pleasure to invite Katie Dubridny, a candidate for Master in Science degree, to give her remarks.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here today. To all the friends and family attending this ceremony in person, we are happy you are able to join us safely. And to those whose loved ones cannot be with us in person today, I am happy to welcome you to the live stream. For the majority of you who don't know me, my name is Katie Dubridny, and I was a graduate student coming in from Southern Arizona. I came to UCM on the promise that I would be learning to a greater degree, and I'm privileged to be able to say that I absolutely have. Navigating college life, both as an undergraduate in Arizona and then as a graduate in Missouri, has been a wild ride just on that principle alone. Missouri is much greener than the Sonoran Desert. And while I could talk about how COVID turned everything upside down, I know that you know that already. I, for one, would be perfectly content if I never heard the word unprecedented again. So let's move on. I felt conflicted writing this speech because on the one hand, I recognize that I am one speaker in a long line of speakers, and most of you just want to see your grad walk across the stage. On the other hand, this is one of the first big graduation ceremonies since COVID-19 hit, and it puts into perspective that our time to shine is not to be taken for granted. So I hope you will all bear with me for a few sweet words before I turn it over to the next person. I could not be more proud of the students and staff I have met, worked with, and studied with at UCM. I had the honor and privilege of getting to know the Warrensburg community and the students at UCM these past 2 years, and it has truly been an honor to be able to work and study with such hardworking, passionate, and dedicated students. I have so many individuals that I would love to recognize, but for now, I would like to recognize everyone sitting before me. Despite all odds, you are here. You made it. You looked at a global pandemic in the eye and said, yeah, I'm still getting my degree. The level of perseverance and dedication are unrivaled, but more than that, the level of love and care that we have extended to one another, the emphasis on mutual support so that we may get through this together, that is what defines this graduating class. We are clever because we care, and we are innovative because we had to be. We had no choice. I hope you all are proud of the work you have accomplished and that you are ready to move on to the next chapter of our lives. The pandemic isn't over, even though we are over it, but we are beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and that alone is worth celebrating. So thank you, class of 2021, for everything.
Thank you, Katie. It is now my pleasure to invite the University of Central Missouri's Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Philip Bridgman, to come forward for a special presentation.
Today, we continue a tradition begun in 1982 at Central Missouri, the recognition of faculty members as the recipients of the Byler Distinguished Faculty Award. The Byler Distinguished Faculty Award has been made possible through the generosity of Dr. and Mrs. William H. Byler, both of whom are now deceased. Dr. Byler, a member of the class of 1927, had a distinguished career as a scientist in the field of luminescent materials. Would our honoree please come forward? A selection committee of faculty peers has recommended the awardee. On behalf of the university and the faculty, it is my pleasure to present to you the recipient of the 2020 Byler Distinguished Faculty Award, Dr. Donna Lisa Butterfield, Professor, College of Education, School of Teaching and Learning. Dr. Butterfield has brought honor to herself and to our university. We commend you.
Thank you, and good afternoon. It is a privilege to be able to address you today, and I want to thank Dr. Robert Lee, my dean in the College of Education, and Dr. Roger Best, president of the university, for giving me this opportunity. Jerry Seinfeld is supposed to have observed that speaking in front of a crowd is considered the #1 fear of the average person. Number 2 is death. This means, he said, that the average person, if you have to be at a funeral, would rather be in the casket than doing the eulogy. Luckily, this isn't a funeral, but if I seem a little nervous, have mercy. I am more accustomed to being seated among you than I am to being up here. This is a day to rejoice at your accomplishments and to savor what you have achieved, and I am honored to celebrate it with you. What I have found at the University of Central Missouri, above all else, is kindness. As a community, we live by the words of Desmond Tutu, who said, "Your ordinary acts of love and hope point to the extraordinary promise that every human life is inestimable." I grew up poor in rural Canada during a time when feminism was a relatively new concept. I spent time in foster care while my parents negotiated their tumultuous marriage. We were often hungry, and we didn't have basic medical or dental care. My father is an artist, still painting at the age of 95. My mother, now deceased, was a brilliant early childhood educator who instilled a love of reading and learning in all 6 of her children. Despite their differences, my parents were able to give their offspring many attributes, but perhaps the greatest of these was kindness. I did not want to be a teacher. I was one of those children who dreamed at her desk, gazing out the window and imagining the day I would dance, write, sing, act, paint, anything, but not teaching. When I once announced that I wanted to go to university, my father said, "Don't be foolish. You'll marry, and your husband will take care of you." I was not deterred. The Ladies' Aid Society in our small village collected money to pay for my books during the first year, and teachers wrote letters to the university where I was accepted on a scholarship that paid for my classes. I picked grapes and mushrooms. I cleaned bathrooms. I jounced other people's babies on my knees. And I graduated with honors, fell in love, married, came to the United States, and had 2 beautiful children, now grown themselves. I published a novel and worked as a journalist, a playwright, a librarian. I lived in a group home with children with special needs. But no matter what I did, life kept turning me back to children and young adults. And finally, in my 30s, I conceded. It seemed I was meant to be a teacher after all. And as the famous Tennessee Williams quote goes, along the way, I have always depended on the kindness of strangers. I decided that if I had to be a teacher, I had better go to graduate school so I could do a good job. You are a very special generation of graduate candidates. You have been forged in the fire of political and civil unrest. You are still weathering a global pandemic, facing the challenges of environmental change, and swimming through the uncertain financial and social tsunamis that swept through our world this year. You are strong and you are ready. At UCM, you have gathered the tools for success. You are the architects of our future. Some days will be rough. Maya Angelou, one of America's greatest poets, wrote, "Don't let the incidents which take place in your life bring you low, And certainly don't whine. You can be brought low. That's okay. But don't be reduced by them. Just say, that's life. We are in awe of the potential you represent. While there may be some sorrow to come in future days, we believe there will be more laughter than tears, more successes than failures, more satisfaction than regret, and more delight than disappointment. You will make your place in history and make us proud. More importantly, you will be proud of yourselves and the good that you do in the universe. I feel sure that kindness from family, from friends, from teachers, and yes, strangers too, carried you to this moment. It is my hope that you will share that kindness in all you do from this day on. W.H. Auden defined a college professor as someone who talks in other people's sleep. Doonesbury comic strip creator G.B. Trudeau observed that speeches were invented largely in the belief that college students should never be released into the world until they have been properly sedated. Hopefully you are still alert enough to enjoy the rest of this, your special day. I will close with a quote from Shakespeare's play, The Tempest. I borrow Miranda's closing words as my own. O brave new world that has such people in it.
Thank you, Dr. Butterfield, for those inspiring words. On behalf of the graduate faculty of the University of Central Missouri, it is my privilege to present the candidates for the Spring 2021 Graduate Commencement. These students, as officially listed and notified, have qualified for degrees offered by the university. Central participates in a cooperative doctoral program with the University of Missouri. Will the candidates for the Doctor of Education, whose degree will be awarded during the University of Missouri's commencement ceremony, please stand and remain standing. The Education Specialist degree is the highest degree conferred by the University of Central Missouri. Will the candidates for the Education Specialist please stand and remain standing? Will the candidates for the Master of Arts in Teaching please stand and remain standing? Will the candidates for the Master of Science in Education stand and remain standing? And will the candidates for the Master of Science please stand and remain standing? President Best, it is my privilege to present these candidates to you for the conferring of their degrees.
Graduates, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the state of Missouri and through the Board of Governors of this great institution, the University of Central Missouri, I do hereby confer upon each of you the degree for which you have qualified, with all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Audience members, help me congratulate these graduates for their hard work. Graduates, you may be seated. It's now my privilege to introduce Ms. Courtney Goddard, who is our Vice President for the University Advancement and the Executive Director for the UCM Foundation. And she will greet our newest members of Mule Nation.
Thank you so much, President Best. I am so happy to be here. And congratulations to all of you. This is truly an amazing accomplishment, earning your graduate degrees from the University of Central Missouri. It's amazing. As Dr. Best said, my name is Courtney Goddard. I am the Executive Director of the Alumni Foundation, and you are official alumni. So I am here to formally welcome you to your Alumni Association, often called Mule Nation. I am here on behalf of the more than 100,000 fellow alums that are also a part of Mule Nation, and I urge you to get connected and stay connected through the Alumni Foundation to these other individuals that will undoubtedly help you along your way. This degree that you have earned and that you, spoiler alert, will not be getting today inside the red folder is not yet your degree. It is just a letter from me and from the Alumni Foundation, but don't throw it away. Your degree will be coming in 6 weeks in the mail. But your degree is so much more than just the piece of paper that will be coming. Malcolm X called education the passport to a brighter future. And you already know how true that is in the work that you've already done. It is a passport to a brighter future, and also for you to this worldwide network of fellow alums. Nobody will ever be able to take this graduate degree away from you, and it is truly going to create a world of opportunity if it hasn't already. As you go forward and seek to make a name for yourself in this chosen field of education, you will inevitably continue to be asked along the way, do you have experience? What is your experience? And because you are all graduates now of UCM with graduate degrees, I know that the answer to that is already yes. You have already gained real-world experience in library settings, in elementary and secondary classrooms, in your student teaching, in all of these realms. You already have this invaluable experiential learning, real-world experience as you begin your careers. And as you do venture forward, I would encourage you to stay connected to UCM, whether through the Alumni Foundation, through your fellow alums, and I'm really speaking directly to those of you now that are going to be in classrooms and are going to be principals and superintendents and administrators, teachers, heads of library systems. You truly will, maybe more than any other graduates on this campus, be touching students who may choose to come to UCM. And that really is all we can ask of our alums. That giving of your time and your talent to those future UCM students is absolutely one of the greatest gifts that alums can give back. You will inevitably give of your time and talent in so many ways, and we are so excited about that. Nelson Mandela called education the most powerful weapon we have. And he urged those with higher education to use that power to change the world for good. And I know that all of you will do that. And as you do that, we are so proud of you and excited to see what you will do as you move forward. You have always been an important part of this university community. And as alums, you will continue to be an invaluable part of this university community, and we will always welcome you home. Congratulations, class of 2021.
The University of Central Missouri collaborates with the University of Missouri-Columbia to offer a Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. The following students will have their degrees conferred by the University of Missouri and are being honored here this afternoon. Dr. Jenny Hayes. The title of Dr. Hayes' dissertation is School Leaders' Perceptions of Missouri's Outdoor Leadership Experience. Her committee members included Dr. Sandy Hutchinson, Chair, Dr. Barbara Martin, Dr. Brian McDonald, Dr. Steve Ritter, Dr. Holly Jennings. Help me congratulate Dr. Hayes. Dr. Michael Verdermine. The title of Dr. Verdermine's dissertation is Exploring College Food Insecurity, a qualitative case study of the perspectives of the University of Central Missouri Food Pantry clientele. His committee members included Dr. Sandy Hutchinson, Chair, Dr. Barbara Martin, Dr. Steve Ritter, Dr. C. Joseph Schott. Help me congratulate Dr. Verdemine. Catherine Allen. Ashley Andrews. Ryan Whitney Carlson. Christina Suchia Cruzan. Joy Marie Durbin. Samantha L. Falkenberry. Bailey K. Finau. Cassie E. Fogel. Jennifer L. Johnson. Jessica Lynn Rowland. Bianca Rochelle Schneider. Amber Stark. Heather J. Taylor. Caroline A. Sarah. Andrew Mark Chamberlain. Loriana Julieta Egemeyer. Hannah J. Francie. Kennedy R. Gurman. Haley Nicole Green. Breck Hart. Marcia Lorene Hasty. Brooke Herrera. Whitney Lawler. Abigail Marie Mishler. Rachel R. Phelps. Ruslyn Rominski. Paul Christopher Rosebrough. Alyssa B. Thomas. Wendy Elizabeth Bonilla. Brittany Lynn Borkowski. Madison Brand. Lori Jean Bushy. Allison Crank. Hannah L. Fulke. Caitlin R. Farr. Catherine M. Fisher. Alexis Mackenzie Hart. Danielle Jean Hallra. Mackenzie Kirk. Alexis Mercedes McVeigh. Darren D. Nicholas. Haley Geneva Parker. Jessica Marie Preston. Brittany Thompson. Michaela Brianne Whitmore. Kelsey N. Woolen. Benjamin Thomas York. Alexandria Reagan Andrade. Andrew Prescott Horse. Catherine DeBrittany. Leslie Ann Garcia. Mackenzie Rose Malawicki. Chelsea J. Peters. Ashley K. Schaefer. Alyssa Teresa Slana. Howard James Spry the fourth. Taylor Shelby Suter. Julie Ann Underwood. Amanda L. Drew. Pauline E. Eatman Johnson. Cynthia Gambino Allen. David C. Fritz. Melissa Ann Hayes. Michelle Marie Nevercla Rink. Kelly Michaela Pride. Tara J. Aiken. Matthew David Botkin. Emma C. Gardner. Sarah A. Quinn. Nikayla Randall. Chrisay M. Seals. Lauren N. Twyman. Raymond Christopher Walters. Emily J. Banfield. Mark A. Carpenter. Jonathan Contreras. Sarah Jo Dragu. Donald G. Horner, Jr. Dalton James Hutchings. Kaylee Ann O'Connor. Jason T. Pleacher. Diana Kathleen Rendell. Audrey M. Stever. Amanda Sue Stuns. Karen Tate Weiss. Tad R. Whitmire. Krista Marie Corey. Marissa D. Klinda. Summer Joy Stuhlzatz. Caitlin Diane Brown. Diana Louise Carroll. Michelle Davis. Skylar Ensign. Olivia Grace Golson. Caitlin Elizabeth Guy. Twaukesha Renee Jones. Morgan T. McQueen. Carrie E. Morkin. Olivia Rose Yeater Novato. Colleen F. Neff. Andrea Guinness Foote. Rebecca L. Grisham. Jana Elizabeth Stidham. Tia L. Barbosa. Kirby Ann Bunnell. Sarah George. Jessica L. Knapp. Monica Jo Wyatt. Dominique N. Cobb. Melanie Ann Edens. Mackenzie Joe Erickson. Caitlin Rose Finnerty. Amanda G. Holder. Courtney Michelle Keller. K. A. Reynolds. Jessica R. Sanders. Bailey Michael Westcott. Erica L. Acord. Anne Kathleen Biley. Haley Nicole Brown. Sherry D. Evans. Carly Chris. Susan E. Todd. Jolie K. Banks. Mariah L. Johnson. Jennifer Marie Kagerice. Taylor N. Pace. Emily M. Constant. Bailey Griffin. Whitney L. Hamilton. Haley Michelle Butler. Korea Tucker. Congratulations, graduates.
We at the university recognize that today's graduates received help, encouragement, and kindness along the way, and we want to take a moment to recognize you. Will the parents, grandparents, spouses, children, and other supporters of today's graduates please stand and be recognized? You have played a significant role, and we congratulate you.
Audience, leading us in the singing of the alma mater is UCM's concert choir. You may follow along with the words on the screen behind me. Please stand. Would the audience please be seated and remain seated throughout the recessional? Guests will be released by sections to promote social distancing. Please remain seated until your section is released. Your graduates will greet you outside the building following the recessional. This concludes the Spring 2021 Graduate Commencement Ceremony.